think so. No, I think we're good. All right, good, because that saves us. Okay, we have somebody new in the back. So, hello, welcome. My name is Sixia Divine. I am from Google, and I'm excited to be here. How was that for a quick elevator pitch? Good? Good. Okay, we're ready to rock. So, I've gotten a bunch of requests on the presentation that I just did. So, what we're going to do is that Evelyn is going to email all of you the presentation. So, and then that way you can go through the slides and you could take a look at the slide notes as well. Okay. So don't worry, if you'd like, you can keep on taking pictures, take your own notes, but just know that you are going to be getting these presentations. And if you're here with a professor, just follow up with your professor and we'll get you those slides. Okay. So this next topic is make your website work for you. I like this presentation mainly because it's basic, right? And it helps us to understand how to really optimize our website that we're currently creating and how to use and how to create a website using a platform called Google My Business, okay? But I'm gonna be giving you some high-level tips on how to work with your website. And I'm curious to know, in the room, how many people here have a website? Okay, nice. And do you maintain your website? Yes? Okay, yeah, with a little help. Okay, good. So for all of you that already have your website and that maintain a website, this is probably gonna be a little basic, which is fine. I'm happy to get, some conversations going on any other tips you'd like to offer, but this is really an opportunity for people who are just starting out. So let's begin. Okay, these are some interesting statistics here. So 79% of the US consumers, they shop online, okay? This number is changing drastically, okay? Every day, right now, that number could be changing. But the fact of the matter is that consumers, this is where we shop, okay? So what is a web design? So this is a good question when you think about a website. The other thing is too, before we wholeheartedly jump into this, is the whole question of why have a website? Okay? I think even before you begin, for all of you who do not have a website, the question is, why do I want one? Okay? What is the purpose of having a website? Okay? And if you can't answer that question, then I would probably hold off, right? And not start working on a website just because you need to have a website, okay? A website should be purposeful. It should be for, doing something, achieving a goal. Do you want to share, do you want to let people know about your brand, about who you are? For those of you who are looking for jobs in the workforce, do you want to let people know about your qualifications, about your skills, right? Do you want to sell something, right? Do you want to help people do something? Do you want to create an online platform where you can educate people on how to grow their business using digital marketing? Okay, I don't know, I'm just saying, it's having that first. If you can't answer that, again, I'd probably hold off and probably save your funds and wait until you have created your roadmap, your business plan, okay? And your business plan, your website should be part of it. So, okay. The question is, what is web design? Web design is the following. It's fonts, right? Isn't it interesting when you think about that? Because it's like, well, font is font and content is content. No, it's actually, there are several different types of fonts, right? And people buy the different types of fonts because it's appealing depending on what their design is, okay? The brand that they're looking to share with their consumers. It's the graphics, it's the content, it's the functionality, and it's also the layout. Functionality and layout, they go hand in hand. All of these are all interconnected. But the fact of the matter is that when you go anywhere, when you present yourself, let's say you're doing a presentation in class, okay? And you walk in, you're like, hello, everyone. Yep, I'm doing a presentation on what I learned at Google, okay? So you start speaking, right? The people who are viewing you, The people who are viewing you, at first, when you first come in, they're looking at different things, okay? They're looking at maybe your hair, your shirt, your jeans, these high heels I'm about to throw out the window. I'm gonna rock my sneakers in a little while. But, they're looking at different things, okay? When you are creating your website, the people that visit your website are going to be experiencing that same thing. They're going to be looking at your site and they're going to be saying, okay, at first, they're going to say, okay, well, this looks good. This, okay, look at this. And then they're automatically going to say, okay, why am I here? Where's the information I need? How can I have my problem solved? I'm trying to buy something. Why can't I buy it? Why can I buy, I can't see. The font is too small. That's really big. So a lot of websites right now, they are, they're mobile optimized, which means that when you create a website, when somebody visits a website on their mobile device, it'll be optimized for mobile. So many of the websites, they already have that functionality, which is really nice. But when you think about, remember how we were talking about creating a selfless and service approach, okay? How is my consumer looking at my website, okay? How are they experiencing this when they go on here? So remember something called the newspaper, right? Remember that? Okay. So back in the day, PR newspaper journalists, they used to say, all of the useful information should be above the fold, which meant was all of the most important stuff that was happening all around, in the area, within the service, within the area that they were providing, was always on top, right? It was always the date, the weather, any top news was always on top. And then the secondary news was on the bottom. When you're working on your website, it's real important that you put all of the useful information that you need on top, okay? Anything you want folks to see should go at the top, right? And a lot of that has to do with engaging them when it comes to your graphics, okay? The content functionality, this is what I'm saying. And then, of course, the top part. So if you have people that are scrolling like this, if they're working their thumb out, remember how I was talking to you before, if they're going down, and if they're working to find your information, then you have a problem, okay? Okay, so let's talk about what a great website is. It's goal-oriented. How will your website grow your business? Okay, again, it's okay, what is the purpose? Why do you want it? So think about that. Next, it's organized. Okay, a great website has a home, it has about, it has services, it has a little search area on top. The reason why this is important is because Google, when Google goes out and they have something called web crawlers, they're literally like, in Spanish, it's like arañas. They're like little spiders that go all around. And they capture information. They capture content. And they also capture layout. Okay, a lot of people don't know this. But if your website is organized, then Google will do a better job of helping you get found organically, which is real interesting, okay? And it's useful. Next one, does your website provide useful content? Okay. Next, is it functional? We talked about that. Is it intuitive? Is it easy to use your site on all devices? So if people have to make the thing's big, maybe if there's a picture and you're having them do this, you might want to reconsider how you're sharing information, how you're posting pictures, okay? How you're sharing video, how you're embedding that information on your website. And then, of course, at the end, is it search friendly? Okay, are they able to find the information they need, So again, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. But if you're just in the beginning stages of creating your website, again, I would like for you to identify the top 3 websites that most identify with your product or service and see what you like about them, okay? See what kinds of things, you say, okay, this is real easy. The font looks perfect. The pictures are great. The layout is amazing, right? And a lot of times you can figure out what themes they're using for their website, right? For the ones that you're looking at. Does that make sense for everyone? Okay, let's move on, okay? Goal-oriented website, okay? So these are just tips on what you want your website to do. So do you want to build a brand, generate leads, make sales, re-engage customers, attract employees, or provide support. These are all examples of things that you should have your website do, right? It's part of your goal. Next, who is your target audience, okay? How they act, how they think, and how they live, okay? So going back to creating an avatar and understanding the different types of consumers, right? So in my organization, in the nonprofit that I run, so we have 3 different kinds of avatars that I like to create, okay? And this could actually be a wonderful exercise to help you engage with your consumers. So the first avatar is, they're females within the ages of 15 and 21 that are in the university service learning program, okay? And so for this specific avatar, I'd like to send pictures, and I'd like to send information of our travels around Dominican Republic and around Honduras, right? Very short content, but a lot of pictures. And then the call to action also has to be right where the pictures are, okay? My second avatar is, well, somebody who's experienced. It's a professional, right? Somebody who's looking for a change in life. They're not really sure what to do next. They're trying to figure out, a little bit of purpose in their profession, and they're not sure if they're interested in going into computer science, so they want to travel with us. So for that avatar, my conversation is going to be different, Are you thinking about taking a life-changing trip? Okay, and now I'm talking to them. So instead of showing pictures, I might have the content in a small video. And then the third avatar I'm looking to is organizations. These are businesses. These are bigger businesses that don't really care about the individuals, but they're looking to engage a new market. They're looking to get in front of consumers who like to travel, that like to volunteer. So my conversation is going to be different with them. Okay, does that make sense? For each service and each product, you should have a different message. But when you have that information on your website, it should be well organized, okay? So these are some helpful tips, okay? More things to consider. Define the audience narrowly. Next, see the world like them. This is easier said than done, right? The best thing that you could do here is to have an informational interview with your potential client or your consumer and ask them questions, talk to them, right? You might want to create a series of questions, maybe 4 to 5. Hey, what are the top 3 things you like about my website? Okay, wow, that's interesting. What would you like to see? Okay, well, that's real interesting. So and then that way, now you're not assuming. You could certainly do your research, right? You could do one of my favorite things. You can Google it. Or you can use the resources here at the university, they're amazing, right? And they are top of the line here. But again, if you want to take that one-on-one approach, I always like connecting with people. It helps with my interpersonal skills. You might want to get that information directly from the source. Okay, next, understand their emotions, motivations, and desires. This is where that humanistic approach comes in. Right? It's trying to figure out, okay, well, what makes them smile? What makes them move? What are some of the things that are appealing to them? Next, how will you measure success? Okay? Track phone calls, collect form submissions, track online sales, and measure engagement. This whole presentation could probably be part of your plan, of your website development plan, and of your business plan. So here's an exercise, okay? So think about your existing or your future website, okay? So what do you want your website to accomplish? And you could do this, a little bit later after you do your YouTube homework. You could do this, and you could ask yourself these questions, okay? Is my website specific? Next, is it realistic, right? Are you saying what you mean? Next, how can you track and how can you measure success? The thing that I like, and I talked about this before, was the analytics, okay? So with the platform with Google My Business that we're going to talk about in the last presentation, the Google Analytics is already embedded in the Google My Business platform. However, when we're talking about website development and website measurements, you have to connect Google Analytics to your website in order for Google Analytics to capture all that important data, right? That data is going to help you figure out on your website, it's going to tell you exactly where your visitors went. Did they go home? Did they call you? Did they go to a picture? Because if they did those things, if they called you more, then that means you should be paying more attention to your customer service and having somebody be on the phone. So that way they can continue to engage your customers. If they're going to a specific picture or if they're going to your events page, then you know you should be doing more there and maybe optimizing your website with photos, okay? Although you shouldn't be overwhelming your website with photos, because the more photos you put on, the less your website is going to be quickly uploaded, okay? So we're gonna talk about that in a little while. So the photos, I'm just gonna throw this out. When you do upload your photos, there should be a 720 by 720 range. That should be the size of the photo, because if it's big, then that's gonna slow down your website. And do you remember? I am super impatient. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4. If it takes more than 5 seconds for the website to load, guess what? I'm leaving. I am going to another website, and you're losing me as a consumer, okay? So be very, very careful about putting pictures. And I'm gonna give you a link so that way you can test your website to see how quickly your website loads. Okay, great. So let's talk about organization. This is what Google looks for, okay? In order for you to get found, in order for you to get a good grade on Google, so that way you can get found easily, we look for, number 1, a universal homepage, the about, products, contact, and then underneath that, then your products or your services could go there. But this is the universal layout that we like to look for. Next, tips. Here are some really interesting tips for organizing your website. Use short, descriptive names and labels, okay? Short and descriptive. Those short and descriptive names should have keywords that are appealing to your consumer. These are the keywords that users are using to find you, okay? You should use them on your pages. Next, keep site visitors in mind, okay? So how would they look for your information? Then keep the most important info in the main navigation page. So we talked about that above the fold, okay? So here's another checklist, okay? So the question is, who's your target audience? And believe me, it's not everybody. So as folks start to grow their business, you know, they might say, I had this woman. It's a true and it's a fun story. A few years ago, maybe over 10 years ago, I'm not even going to share my age, but 10 years ago, I used to help women start and grow businesses. It was still connected to entrepreneurship and business development. So this woman came in, and she was very excited about starting a psychic cat business. So she came in and she told me her idea, and I was like, fantastic. I'm like, you could never bust anybody's vision because anything in life is possible. I'm a firm believer. I am the eternal optimist, which is why I believe that anything is possible with hard work and time, right? So she came in and she's telling me her story, and she's like, this is what I want to do, and I have a friend who reads the minds of pets. I was like, all right, cool. I'm like, that's interesting. Let's look at some of the statistics, you know, that go along with, you know, what you're doing. So anyway, so she showed me what was happening, and the pet industry was booming. Do you remember the pet jewelries? They were coming out, you know, with the cool pet collars. There was a famous actress who started the trend with her little pooch. Anyway, so that trend became relevant. So she was sharing it with me. She said, you know what? I think that it would just be an amazing opportunity for me to do this and to move forward in my business. So what ended up happening was she ended up creating this amazing business plan, and she got it off the ground. And now today, what she does is her and her partner, they read the minds of cats and dogs and parrots, right? In the state of Rhode Island, it's called Psychic Kitty. It's still in existence, right? And she's doing such a great job. She's using her website right now to cater to the needs of her clients. She understood her clients. She understood her market research. And I think that's phenomenal, because at first, you know, it's like, well, you got okay, so do you have somebody that's gonna, read the minds of the cats and dogs? Yes, absolutely. And I have the research to prove that the pet industry is booming. Well, guess what? She knew her audience, and it's been over 10 years, and that woman is still in business. So it really does take some time to figure out who your target audience is. But if you have a service and if you're providing a need for the people will come if the conversation is right. And so she has a really neat platform too online. Anyway, I just thought that was pretty interesting. She's one of my favorite business stories to talk about. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so a great website is useful. Let's take a look at this. So there are 3 types of content. We talked about this before. There's text, images, and videos. The text that you use helps Google find your website. And also the images, when you upload the images, make sure that you type in the description of the image. And then the same thing goes with your video, right? In your YouTube videos, as you start creating them, make sure you add your website link and any other helpful information. I'd also add in your YouTube links, your social media handles, okay? That's another thing that's gonna help you get found across all channels. Okay, so here's another cool statistic. 61% of consumers expect brands to tailor experiences based on their preferences. This is the culture that we are in now. If we're not delivering goods and if we're not catering to our consumers, guess what? They're gonna go somewhere else. They're gonna buy somewhere else. They want their experience to be on point. They want it right now. They want it in the moment of need. And if you're not able to provide that, then that loyal consumer, it's never been a loyal consumer, right? It's a spoiled consumer. And guess what? I'm guilty of that. And I know that most of you are too. Just by a show of hands, right? How many people have left a website because you haven't found the information you needed in less than, let's say, 15 seconds, right? 15 seconds is a long time. Yes, I know, I see you. This is the world that we live in. We are consumers, right? But we are also small businesses. And we're trying to get in front of a consumer that is spoiled, and we have to cater to their needs. And by the way, have fun while we're doing it too. It's very interesting. But this number is expected to rise, 61%, right? 9 out of 10 times when people had a helpful or a relevant experience, especially when it comes to mobile brands, they said that they would go back, which is nice. So then that's when it becomes an opportunity for you to engage customers and to have them come back because you did something different. You were extra special. I'm staying at a hotel about 25 minutes from here. So I got in super late last night from Colorado. It was midnight. And they had certain fees on my bill. And it was some kind of like a resort fee. And I was just like, I just slept here like 5 hours. And I just don't understand the resort fees. This is me telling the people at the counter. And so they were so helpful. They were like, oh my gosh, it's wonderful that you're here staying with us. We hope you stay here again. Yes, we're going to take away these resort fees. We hope you come back. Here's this care package. And for me, they had no idea that, I was coming from Colorado or anything. They just knew that I got here late and I was not feeling the resort fees because I wasn't going to participate in the resort because I had no time. So they ended up taking that off. So for me, as a consumer, I like what they did. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go on their website and I'm gonna leave a positive review. I'm gonna say, wow, this was such an amazing experience. Thank you so much. You really made me feel good. I'm happy that you took away the resort fees. But mainly what I liked was that people interaction. It was like I went, I saw, they were very, very nice, and it was a positive experience for me. So I checked out their website, and it was pretty decent. But that makes me want to continue sending more business to them. Next, examine the nature of the user interaction. So we talked about this with analytics. Okay, let's talk about what is functional. So you should have a little search on top of your website, right? And then if you are looking to sell your products online. So there's different types of integrations that you could use as well. So an example is Shopify. You could also create websites, where the shopping experience already comes as part of that web template. So I'm going to go back to the cigar experience, right? If folks want to buy cigars, if I'm in Rhode Island and if I want to buy cigars from my friends in Boston, I'm going to go online and I'm going to shop for my Nicaragua cigars, for my cigars from Honduras, right? And I'm going to shop maybe in bulk, right? And I want them during a certain time. Maybe I want, bulk, a lot for me is maybe a few boxes, right? I want the experience to be easy. I want my experience to tell me how far I have to go. So putting in steps as you have people make a purchase, here, this is the first thing you're going to do. You're going to fill in your information. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to tell me what the order is. And the third thing you're going to do is you're going to give me your credit card, and my website is secure, I promise, because there's a little label that says it, okay? So you want the experience to be seamless and easy. That's an example of functionality. Okay, is everybody good? Yes, you're feeling all right? Good. I see some people yawning. That's all right. If you want, why don't we do this real quick? If we only have a few more minutes, if you just want to stand up real quick and just do like a big stretch real quick. There you go. Come on, stand up. I've been up here. I'm going to change my heels. I'm going to put my sneakers on. Just real quick. I promise that this is almost over. There we go. There you go. There you go. See, doesn't that feel good? Get the blood flowing. Sometimes I put a little bit of music, un poquito de bachata, perico ripiao, merengue, salsa. That's my jam, anything that ends with a vowel. All right, let's go. Scenario 1, how can your website help? The first one is, this is just an example. If you own a landscape company that delivers mulch, you can let people know how much, this is an example of being valuable. So you tell people this is how much mulch you need. So this is a big problem for people who are in the landscaping industry. So now you're giving them the information, you're making them easy. Next, the second scenario, you started a hair salon and you don't have anybody to answer your phones for an appointment. So on your website, you can integrate a scheduler where people could go in and they could schedule an appointment and they could let you know what kind of hairstyle they're looking for, or if they're looking for a mani or a pedi, they could be specific. So you could add this to your website. Next, if you're a bakery that makes wedding cakes, people call you and ask you the same question. So you want to add informational material, okay? Informational and valuable material. And all of that information is content, okay? Content is king, and that's going to help Google find you. And it's also going to make the experience for clients, for consumers, much easier, right? With the idea that maybe they can forward it on to somebody else. Next, okay, a great website is intuitive. So here's another fun statistic that you can tweet. 46% of people say they would not purchase from a brand again if they had an interruptive mobile experience, okay? And that's true because I have, really, there's no patience right now. So this is the link that all of you need to test your website, okay? This link will let you know how quickly it takes your website to load, okay? If somebody wants to volunteer, for those of you folks who already have a website, if you want to put it in to see, would you do it? Okay, wonderful. So go ahead. So take out your phone and type in testmysite.thinkwithgoogle.com. So the ideal speed for a website to load is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was a little fast. 4 seconds, okay? If it's more than that, then you're going to lose people quickly. And once you add your website, this link will let you know what areas you need to pay attention to. It'll tell you that certain photos might be taking up time. There might be a video that you downloaded or that you uploaded instead of adding a link, but it'll tell you specifically why your website is behaving in the way it is, why your website is slow. Did you get it? 65%? Oh, it's still loading? Okay. All right, so it's almost coming. So on average, The number is 15 seconds for a website to load, and that's not good. That's no bueno. Cambio y fuera. So that's a Dominican term that we say peace out. Okay, cambio y fuera. So let's see. Did you get it yet? Yeah. That's okay. The internet is a little funky. Okay. So I'm just going to move on here. Let's see. No? Okay. Well, let's move on as we wait to see how quickly that information is uploaded. What is it? 17 seconds? Okay, so that needs work. So 17 seconds needs work. Yeah, and even, as a matter of fact, even the amount of time it took for you to get that information, that was even too long as well, right? So right now, there are companies that are coming up with different platforms, especially websites, that are faster. But at the end of the day, it's the pictures that slow down your website. And so, again, if you use that link, it'll tell you specifically what you need to do and where you need to go to make those changes. Okay, so let's check this out. So here are some navigation tips, okay? So you can highlight selected elements, okay? The design site to allow plenty of space. So simplicity is key. Again, you want to be very mindful of how you're using your space. And ensure that the call to action is always on the top. And we always talk about this, especially when we're sending out emails and information. That call to action should be right at the top in anything that you're trying to do. So changing your website periodically and letting folks know what you're doing would be real important. Okay, next, shopping. So we talked about this. So after they've experienced their shopping, it would be great for you to show them what steps they took, like 1, 2, 3. And you've had this if you've made any purchases recently. So the best websites are the cleaner ones, where it says, okay, this is the first thing you did, this is the second, and then this is the third. Okay, the checkout experience. So there's certain websites that add extra steps. You really want to make the last part seamless. So making sure that there's a checkout, where it actually says checkout, and not having your consumers go to a different page. That's also going to be real important, just to say, okay, you're almost here. So you're almost about to be checked out. And by the way, we're going to be emailing you a receipt. So a lot of folks like to see that, okay? Make sure that your website has that kind of functionality where people have a copy of the receipt. And if you're looking, if it's more a product, and it's also true for service, where there's maybe like a return policy too. Maybe if they weren't happy with the services they received, you might want to put a disclaimer in there somewhere. So then that way people could understand what the policies are. Okay, so let's see, behind the scenes. So I talked to you how Google works. First, there are things called spiders that go out, and they find your content on your website. Then Google finds the information that the searcher is looking for, and then the algorithm, right? It uses 200 kinds of signals to decide which pages are relevant, okay? So the pages that people are looking for, well, actually, your consumers, they don't know what they're looking for until they find it. So they might have a specific need. They might say, you know what, I want to buy comfortable running heels, right? Running heels, people like to wear heels, and they like to have, comfortable heels where they're not necessarily walking in them, but they're running in them. That's just an example, right? So I'm thinking that people might search for something like this on your site. If you have those keywords, and this is fantastic, then Google will find that, right? And then they'll see that more people are searching for that, and then that little process, that little phrase will help you get noticed organically. And that's the beauty of helping Google find you, helping your consumers find you. Next, results are ranked in order of relevance as well. Depends on what people are looking for, and there's also subcategories that you will fall under. Okay, so this is real quick. So this is what this looks like. This is what a search query looks like right here. So you put in this information. Let's just use this as an example. Stacia's Bakery. When you search for this, this here, right here, where it says AD, whenever you see this, this is an ad. Okay, how many people knew this? Just by a show of hands. You knew that this was an ad, okay? Did you also know that every time you clicked on this ad, that the person who created this gets charged? Did you know this? Yes? Yes. Whenever you click that little green link, that means that the person who put together that campaign is getting charged. So anytime you go like this, that person is getting charged per click. It's called pay per click, okay? And then this right here, this is an organic result. When you don't see this word ad, and when it just shows up here, it means that your website was found organically. It means that you didn't have to do anything, or Stacia's Bakery didn't have to do anything in order for it to show up here. Now, here on the right-hand side, this is what we're going to be talking about in the next session. This is a Google My Business listing, okay? Google My Business is a free platform where businesses can get found on search and on maps. There's a verification process, and it's for storefront businesses. And so this is how your information shows up. So there's pictures, there's a map, there's also reviews that show up, and this is great for people that travel, especially for folks like me who want to visit different places. It's actually for anybody who's looking for a great experience in either being a consumer, going to a restaurant, or a service. This is a description, here's the address and the phone number. And then people also have, searches also have the ability to go onto the website and also get directions. I love talking about this Google My Business platform. It's probably one of our most popular presentations for small businesses. Again, because it's free. And I have this saying that whatever is free is for me. And all of you should embrace that, because as you start growing your business, you really want to take anything that you don't have to pay for first and really use that as a way to analyze your business and as a form of next steps. So this platform, again, it's called Google My Business. We're going to be talking about it in my next presentation, where we're also going to be talking about how to reach customers using Google Analytics and trends, and a little bit about Google My Business. Okay. So here we go, helping Google understand your site. Make it easy for Google to find you. So these are the elements that Google looks for: fast load time, useful content, text links, page titles, information, architecture. That's the AI. That's the little graph that I showed you. It helps to organize what your site looks like. And then all the browsers and devices that your website is being found on. Wonderful. So next steps, próximo pasos. Let's see. So you should make a list of your goals. It's like a GPS, right? If you're somewhere and you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get in a car and just drive? You have to put in the destination. So the same thing goes for your website. What are you trying to do? Where are you trying to go? Okay, figure that out first. Next, select an intuitive design, and a design that's easy for your consumers to get to. Next, plan information architecture. That is the organization of the site. Create useful content is the next one. Add useful functionality. And then finally, be search engine friendly. Nice. So somebody was asking me about lessons and about how to get more details about Google products and how to get found on Google. You could go to this link, gybo.com/lessons, and you can get more information, and you could check out some webinars that are free. You could also see what other events Google has around Florida. So I am one of 15 speakers around the US. There are also Google partners that exist in many, many parts of the United States. And so these are marketers who also can help you get found online using all of Google products, okay? So I just want you to keep in mind. So there's Google partners who they also offer a lot of the same information that we do, but they can help you get your business up and running. Nice. So I always get asked, what is what are people mostly searching for, okay? And so what I did was I found this awesome video from last year, and it's a compilation of what people search for in 2017. We don't have what people search for in 2018, but I'd like to show and I'd like to end with this video because I do believe that it is a reflection of who we are as a nation and how powerful we are as individuals searching. So let's play this video so that way you can have an idea of what people search for in 2017.
To the families and friends of the victims, know that we'll do everything we can. We are Vegas strong.
No matter what we're going through, we still have to push forward.
Are you ready to shake up the world?
It takes an act of love to realize we are all in this together.
We made history tonight.
Look at that!
It's emotional. I can't explain why, but it is.
I'm asking that you guys join and mobilize with me.
I will say it right now out loud. Me too.
Me too.
Me too.
Me too.
Love you, right?
Put your head back on, bro. You gonna shake it, bro. The things that make us different, those are our superpowers. Go out there and conquer the world. Because the world would not be as beautiful as it is if we weren't in it.
So whether it be YouTube, whether it be search, we all have the opportunity to move forward. What you just saw was a compilation of searches that were made by people like you, by people like me, okay? This is all possible. Now it's time for you to take action, my people. Thank you so much. I will see you in my next workshop. And I won't have my high heels on either.